The great banana frosting fiasco. Once upon a time, in a land covered in fluffy white snow, the minions were having a very chilly day. Stuart, Kevin, and Bob were shivering in their little blue overalls. Suddenly, Kevin had a brilliant idea. What if they made a giant banana smoothie to warm everyone up? But not just any smoothie, a hot banana smoothie. They needed the biggest, sweetest bananas in the whole world. Bob remembered a legend of the frostbitten banana hidden deep in the whispering woods. This banana was said to be so sweet it could make winter feel like summer, but the legend also warned of a scary creature guarding it. Stuart gulped. Was it worth the risk? Kevin, ever the brave leader, puffed out his chest and said, "Bellow! Banana!" They packed their gear, a tiny grappling hook, a very long scarf, and 3 pairs of mittens. As they stepped into the snowy woods, a strange quiet fell. The only sound was the crunch, crunch, crunch of their little boots. A cold wind howled through the trees, sounding like a spooky ghost saying, "Whoop!" Bob hid behind Kevin, his eyes wide with fear. What was that sound? Out of nowhere, a snowball whizzed past Stuart's head. They looked around, but saw nothing. Another snowball hit Kevin right on his goggle, who was throwing snowballs at them. Suddenly, a flash of white fur darted behind a tree. It was too fast to see clearly. Was it the monster from the legend? The creature was playing games with them! They tiptoed forward, following a trail of tiny footprints in the snow. The footprints led to a huge, icy cave shimmering like a diamond. A low growl echoed from inside. Stuart wanted to turn back, but the thought of that sweet, warm banana smoothie kept them going. They had to be brave for the sake of all minions. Inside the cave, icicles hung from the ceiling like giant, pointy teeth. And in the center, glowing with a soft, yellow light, was the frostbitten banana. It was more beautiful than they had ever imagined. But standing right in front of it was a huge, shadowy figure. The monster. It was 10 feet tall, with glowing red eyes. The minions froze in terror. The monster let out a mighty roar that shook the entire cave. Bob started to cry. Kevin, thinking fast, grabbed the long scarf. He had a plan, a very silly plan. He whispered it to Stuart and Bob. It was so crazy, it just might work. They were going to distract the monster! Bob took a deep breath and started singing his favorite lullaby. Very, very loudly. The monster looked confused. It had never heard such a strange song before. While the monster was distracted, Kevin and Stuart tiptoed around it. They were trying to get to the banana without the big furry beast noticing. It was working. But then, Stuart tripped over his own feet and tumbled forward, making a loud poof as he landed in a snowdrift. The monster turned its head, its red eyes locking onto Stuart. It took a giant step towards him, its claws ready. Was this the end for poor Stuart? Kevin knew he had to act fast. He grabbed the grappling hook and swung it like a lasso. He aimed for a giant icicle hanging right above the monster's head. With a perfect throw, the hook caught. Kevin pulled with all his might. The icicle wiggled, then wobbled, then crash! It fell right in front of the monster, creating a wall of ice. They were saved. But the monster wasn't happy. It smashed the ice wall with one swipe of its giant paw. It was angrier than ever. The minions huddled together, their hearts pounding. The monster opened its huge mouth, but instead of a roar, a tiny voice squeaked out, "My banana." It wasn't a monster at all. The monster was just a fluffy, white snow squirrel standing on a pile of rocks to look tall. The red eyes were 2 shiny berries it was holding. The roar was just the wind whistling through the cave entrance. The squirrel was shivering and looked very sad. It wasn't scary. It was just cold and lonely. Bob walked up to the little squirrel and gave it a big hug. He offered the squirrel one of his own bananas from his pocket. The squirrel's eyes lit up. It happily took the banana and started nibbling on it. It had only been guarding the big banana because it was the only food it could find. The minions realized the squirrel needed the frostbitten banana more than they did. So, Kevin used the grappling hook to gently lower the giant banana for their new friend. The squirrel chattered with joy and gave each minion a big, fluffy hug. They had made a new friend and learned that things aren't always as scary as they seem. Feeling happy, the minions waved goodbye to the squirrel and headed home. They didn't have the frostbitten banana, but they had a great story to tell. And when they got back, they discovered Gru had already made everyone hot chocolate anyway. It was the best winter day ever. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Minion Adventures.